Hello, everybody. My name is Mahael Abdul-Qawi. I'm the founder of the Accountability Party for Human Rights, a political vanguard organization comprised of individuals who have chosen the path of self-awareness and understanding. Individuals, individuals who have chosen to focus on themselves, push themselves, and grow to a position where they understand themselves. They understand the duality of human nature, and they're able to take this understanding about themselves to not only help themselves when times get rough, but they're also able to pass forward what they know about themselves and of the human condition, where they're able to pay it forward and to provide services and resources for other people, specifically the working class people of this country. This platform, Who's Accountable podcast, is a way for myself and other members of the Accountability Party for Human Rights for us to shine a spotlight on those individuals who are actively working to oppress the working class people of this country. Individuals who are actively making sure that the working class people, they don't have an opportunity to understand themselves, because to understand yourself means you have a greater purpose in a greater web of society. You're able to live into your role. You're able to pay it forward not only for yourself and for your well-being, but you're also able to pay it forward to your family, to your communities. We shine a spotlight on those who are actively working to suppress and oppress the people who don't even have a chance to achieve this understanding of themselves. And on the accountability shorts, this series is a way for me to talk about different principles and morale that I believe are missing and are needed in this modern conversation and this modern day of life that we are currently within here in the United States of America. For this video, I would like to read a quote from the Stoic Marcus Aurelius. If anyone can refute me, show me I'm making a mistake or looking at things from the wrong perspective, I'll gladly change. It is the truth I'm after, and the truth never harmed anyone. What harms us is to persist in self-deceit and ignorance. And the reason why I wanted to share that quote is because we live in a time period where what Marcus is aiming about in this quote, which I'll break down pretty much before I continue, is it's approaching conversation, debates with an open mind. An open mind where, like he said, if you're able to show me the fault in my truth, in my belief, you can break it down to me and show me exactly where in this process of thinking I am wrong or I've missed the mark. Who am I to feel wronged that you went out of your way to help me see what I did not see before? Who am I to flip the script and then come at you and to attack you for simply guiding me to a better truth? Now, of course, those who are breaking down where I'm wrong, if you're going about it in a very rude way, because there is a big difference between being rude and being a voice to critique. There is a difference. And if you, as an other being outside of myself, are able to help me see where I'm flawed and where I can improve, as somebody who should want to improve, I feel like all human beings, we should have that desire to constantly improve. Why would I get upset that you are helping me improve? And I wanted to share that because we live in a modern age where you can't even share your truth to somebody else's truth and help them achieve a greater sense of truth. I believe that the real truth and a broad concept of things rest in the middle like a circle. And in this circle, right here, the truth, around that you have 7 billion human beings in their own perspective. And of course, some parts outside the circle are going to be more lumped together in beliefs and with their perspectives. But we live in a time where there's always going to be one truth. And no matter of our separate views and angles of said truth, there's always going to be the underlining common denominator to it that unites all of our understanding and perspective. And this is where you come up with a greater good, essentially, when, for example, out of 333 million Americans, although we may see killing as something wrong, and although 330 million people probably have their own individual reasons as to why they view killing as wrong, or maybe there will be, again, clumps of similar ideologies, there's still the underlying thing that killing is a wrong activity. We're not going to say that it shouldn't be done, because there are, unfortunately, life moments that require it to be. But I think in itself, the idea that it is wrong to take life away from anything is just wrong, regardless if there is justification for it. And just because something is wrong and the justification doesn't mean all that it's evil or this thing and all that, it makes you a terrible human being if you had to commit a wrong. Life is not simple where you can get away with doing what may be right or wrong. It's just an act that, there are two kinds of wrongs in a way I've seen. There's a wrong where we can all agree, again, like killing, where it's just wrong because human life is supposed to be here. Life is supposed to be created. So taking it out, although there is a natural flow to the universe, birth and death, to control that path, and for me to go out of my way to take it, something that isn't a natural cause of death, is wrong. So what I want to get at with all that being said is that we live in a time where we are dancing around one sole truth, and we have not been able to come together and to be able to have conversations with one another as to why we need to find the common denominator. We are currently living in a time where everybody would rather stick to their truths until they are in the grave, rather than have a conversation with somebody from a different angle of the truth and factor in what this person may be trying to tell them. We don't have, and it's rare, I'm not saying it's completely obsolete. If you go on YouTube or different forums, you will be amazed to see that there are individuals who are engaging in conversation. Yes, they're going to have that natural fire that comes with any debate, that comes with any new information. You're going to have some hesitancy. You're going to have some points to be made up. But the point of having conversations with other human beings is for exactly what Marcus is saying. This is how you fuel your open-mindedness. This is how you become more knowledgeable in different things, because there may be a moment in the future where you're confronted with something where you may be confronted with something where your personal truth no longer applies. And in your head, because the brain is going to do what the brain is going to do, and it's going to run through scenarios and solutions quick as possible, it's going to think of that moment where you had this debate with somebody and they gave you a truth, or they tried to help you improve on your truth. And instead of tapping into that moment, you would rather die on the hill that you were so proudly on instead of coming down a little bit. for a victory. And it's super dangerous where we are, because if people are going to live by these truths, die by these truths, you have to at least make sure that the truths are something that we as a common good can all agree on. Again, it doesn't have to be something on that we oppose in our day to day and we live in servitude to this truth, but the understanding of the truth. And right now, when there's so much discord and tug of war, and again, those same individuals who I spotlight on the Who's Accountable podcast are the same individuals who are dictating this conversation about truthful conversations. They are controlling the truth depending on political gain and for their fame. Truth is not swayed based off of outcry or who likes it or not, or if it benefits me in this. Truth is not fair. It is not biased. It does not care about human, tribal, petty state of minds. The truth cuts through all of that. And yet we live in a time where people are trying to control the truth and cut at certain individuals, as if the truth does not cut through their bullshit as well. So I say all this for those who are listening, for those who are tuning in, and I greatly appreciate you, those who come back. We have to make sure that we are taking a stance against those who are trying to manipulate the truth. And you're seeing it all around. For example, recently, Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, she was talking to students, and one of the students brought up the fact that our Congress is passing more legislation to support Iran and the acts of tyranny that they're doing against the Palestinian people and their own people on top of that. And then you had backlash on Kamala for saying to the students, pretty much, I agree with you in speaking your truth and standing here to speak your angle from the truth. And then politicians and Fox News, they started coming at her for simply saying, I stand with your truth. Now, I'm not Team Kamala. I'm not, trust me, she is the worst thing to, she is the worst thing to step into the White House, probably since Condoleezza Rice. And I know there's been people since Obama, Trump, but I'm talking about not a president. Somebody that's not a president stepping into the White House. She is, just in terms of what she has done for the people, or should I say what she hasn't done for the people. But for her to just have that statement and to be forced to change her statement because other people want her, other people who are influencing want her to speak a certain side of the truth because it doesn't match up with the overall crimes that's being occurred right now against humanity in this part of the world, is just wrong. She can't keep herself from, because it's a human thing deep down to want to abide to the truth. And she's had plenty of slip-ups now where she has spoken the truth and had to she's had to backtrack a few of her statements just to appease to those who want to manipulate the truth. Now, she could be having these Freudian slips just because she's not mindful, or maybe it's her, whatever it may be. She's had these moments in this constant, and she's not the only one who's had to retrace their steps and figure out where they did the unspoken part out loud. And I think right now, as we move forward, it's important, again, for those to understand that there is a gray area where the truth exists. Even what I'm saying, even everything I'm saying right now in this video is only a one angle from the fucking truth, where I'm only seeing it from my side. Now, there may be others who would agree with that, but all I'm pushing for, because my angle comes from experience, from what I've went through in my life. And I try to get close to the gray as much as I can, but from the angle in which I see it is going to be dictated from my experiences. But you have to understand too that my experiences, they do not dictate the main truth. And we need to understand that as a whole, that our experiences and our personal wants and needs and desires, they don't affect this gray. No matter how much we would like it to, it does not affect. Nor can it speak for other people's experiences and truth. We can only hope that we all come together and see the singular truth. But that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Stop trying to control it. The people need pure, unsaturated gray matter. But only inshallah.